So in terms of spacing, there are two types of spacing. There's what we call inter-row spacing and intra-row spacing. Now the inter-row spacing, it is the distance between the rows of plants. So the distance between this row and this row, this is what we refer to as inter-row. It often determines how easily you can cultivate or remove the weeds, even irrigate between your rows. So as you can see how well spaced these rows are, it's very much easier to irrigate in between, and it's very much easier to remove the weeds like this, to remove your weeds like this. But if you do not space your rows quite well, you'll have difficulty in terms of irrigation, and you'll have difficulty in terms of removing your weeds. It also affects the plant population per hectare. So how you space your rows, it will also affect how many plants you can plant per hectare. Also, it ensures that there is proper light penetration and there is also proper airflow between your plants. So if you're going to plant or arrange your rows close like this, then it's going to limit the airflow and the light penetration for your plants. But if they are well spaced like this, in this case, we have separated our rows about a good 30 centimeters apart, and this becomes efficient in terms of light penetration and airflow between the rows. Now intra-row spacing, it is this distance between the plants that are within the same rows. So the distance from this plant to that plant, that's what we call the intra-row spacing. It controls how much each plant competes with its neighbors for water, nutrients and light. So for example, the nutrients that this plant utilizes and the amount of nutrients that this plant utilizes depends on how well spaced they are. If they are spaced closely together like this, if this plant was here, then they were going to compete for the nutrients in this area. But because they are well spaced, then there is less of competition between these two. So each plant is getting a fair amount of nutrition, is getting a fair amount of sunlight as well.